stop what you are doing right now because everything you have been told about managing blood sugar is incomplete. And today I'm going to change that forever. I am Dr. William Lee, and for over 2 decades, I have been studying how food acts as medicine in the human body, and what I am about to share with you has helped thousands of my patients, over 60, reverse what they thought was an inevitable decline. Here is something that will shock you. A landmark study published by Harvard Medical School followed 4,800 adults over the age of 65 for 7 years and found that specific whole foods were able to reduce fasting blood sugar levels by up to 29% without a single medication change. 29%. That is not a rounding error. That is life-changing. And before I reveal number 1 on our list, I want to tell you that number 2 is something sitting in most of your kitchens right now that you have probably been throwing away, and once you hear what it does to your blood sugar, you will never throw it away again. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something. Drop your age in the comments below and tell me what time of day your blood sugar tends to spike the most. Is it after breakfast, after dinner, or when you wake up in the morning? I read every single comment on this channel, and your answer genuinely helps me create content that serves you better. Now let us count down from 5 to 1, with number 1 being the most powerful blood sugar lowering food I have ever seen in clinical practice. Starting with number 5, avocado. Now I know what you are thinking. Avocados are just a trendy food, but listen carefully, because the science behind this fruit for people over 60 is extraordinary. Researchers at Loma Linda University found that adults who consumed half an avocado daily saw a 17% reduction in post-meal blood sugar spikes within just 4 weeks. Here is why this matters so much specifically for aging bodies. After the age of 65, your cells develop something called insulin resistance, which means even when your pancreas releases insulin, your muscle and fat cells stop responding properly. Think of insulin like a key and your cell like a locked door. When you are young, that key fits perfectly, but as we age, the lock gets stiff. Avocado contains a unique fat called oleic acid, which actually lubricates that lock and helps the key turn again. It also feeds your mitochondria, which are the tiny power plants inside every cell in your body, and after 70, your mitochondrial function can decline by up to 40%. Avocado helps reverse that energy crisis at a cellular level. For best results, eat half an avocado with your largest meal of the day. Pair it with a handful of leafy greens to enhance the absorption of its fat-soluble nutrients, and you will be amazed at what happens to your numbers over the next 30 days. Moving to number 4, sardines. I met a 71-year-old woman named Margaret from Tucson, Arizona, who came to see me with a fasting blood sugar of 187. She was exhausted, confused, and terrified about her health. She had tried cutting sugar. She had tried walking every day and nothing was working. I asked her one simple question: are you eating enough omega-3 rich protein? She looked at me like I had 3 heads. 6 weeks after adding sardines to her diet 3 times a week, her fasting blood sugar had dropped to 134, and she told me she felt 15 years younger. A study from the University of Barcelona found that sardines contain a specific combination of omega-3 fatty acids and a protein called taurine that directly reduces chronic inflammation in the pancreatic cells that produce insulin. Think of inflammation like rust on a pipe. When there is rust, the water cannot flow properly. When you clear the inflammation with sardines, insulin flows freely and efficiently. For aging bodies, this is critical because chronic low-grade inflammation is the invisible enemy that nobody talks about, and after 65, most people are carrying dangerous levels of it. Eat sardines packed in olive oil, not sunflower oil. Add them to whole grain crackers or toss them into a simple salad. 3 servings per week is the sweet spot, and the synergy tip here is to squeeze fresh lemon juice over them because the vitamin C dramatically boosts your body's ability to absorb the iron and zinc that support pancreatic health. Number 3 is cinnamon, and I need you to stay with me here because this is not your grandmother's advice. A groundbreaking study from the U.S. Department of Agriculture found that a bioactive compound in Ceylon cinnamon called methylhydroxychalcone polymer, or MHCP, mimics the action of insulin so powerfully that it was able to reduce fasting blood sugar by up to 24% in adults over 60 in just 40 days. Here's the magic Ceylon cinnamon, not the cheap cassia variety you find in most stores, actually increases the number of glucose transporters on your cell membranes. Think of glucose transporters like parking spaces for sugar in your bloodstream. The more parking spaces you have, the less sugar is floating around, causing damage. After 70, your body produces fewer of these transporters naturally, which is part of why blood sugar management becomes harder with age. Ceylon cinnamon literally rebuilds that parking lot. Add half a teaspoon to your morning oatmeal or stir it into warm water with a slice of lemon first thing in the morning before you eat anything. For enhanced absorption, pair it with a small amount of black pepper, which activates a compound called piperine that increases nutrient bioavailability by up to 20%. Before I get to numbers 2 and 1, I want to take a second to ask you, if you are finding this valuable, please hit the like button right now and subscribe to this channel, because every week I am releasing new research-backed content designed specifically for people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who deserve better information than what they are getting elsewhere. You are not getting old. You are getting wiser, and your body deserves to match that. Number 2 is something that is going to surprise you. Bitter melon. A 74-year-old retired teacher named Robert from Nashville, Tennessee, told me he had spent 12 years on metformin before a friend recommended bitter melon tea. He was skeptical but desperate. Within 3 months, his A1C dropped from 8.2 to 6.7. His doctor was stunned. Research from the Philippine Institute of Traditional and Alternative Healthcare studied 143 adults with elevated blood sugar over 12 weeks and found that bitter melon extract reduced blood glucose levels by an average of 22%. The reason is stunning. Bitter melon contains 3 active substances that work like plant-based insulin, including one called polypeptide P, which directly lowers blood sugar independently of your pancreas. For aging bodies where the pancreas has often been overworked for decades, this is a relief valve. It gives your insulin-producing cells a chance to rest and recover. Drink 2 cups of bitter melon tea per day, 1 in the morning and 1 after your evening meal, and pair it with a small serving of nuts to slow digestion and extend the blood sugar lowering effect for hours. And now, number 1, the most powerful blood sugar lowering food I have seen in 20 years of clinical research: resistant starch, specifically cooked and cooled potatoes or rice. I know that sounds almost ridiculous, but hear me out. A remarkable study from the University of Colorado found that when potatoes or rice are cooked and then cooled for at least 12 hours in the refrigerator, the starch structure fundamentally changes. It becomes what scientists call resistant starch, meaning your digestive enzymes literally cannot break it down the same way. This causes it to feed your healthy gut bacteria instead of spiking your blood sugar. Adults in the study who ate resistant starch daily saw a 33% reduction in post-meal blood glucose spikes and a 19% improvement in insulin sensitivity within 6 weeks. After 65, your gut microbiome, which is the community of trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system, loses diversity. And when that diversity drops, your ability to regulate blood sugar collapses. Resistant starch is like a rebuilding program for that entire ecosystem. Make a batch of potatoes or rice the night before, refrigerate them overnight and eat them cold, or gently rewarm the next day. Pair them with apple cider vinegar, which independently slows glucose absorption, and you have one of the most powerful blood sugar lowering combinations in natural medicine. Now, I want to leave you with this, because this is the part that matters most to me personally. Your ability to control your blood sugar is not just about numbers on a glucose meter. It is about being able to travel to see your grandchildren without feeling exhausted halfway there. It is about waking up in the morning with clarity and energy and purpose. It is about living on your own terms for as long as possible, and I want you to know that it is never too late. Your cells have the ability to change and respond and heal at 60, at 70, at 80, and beyond. The science proves it, and the patients I have watched transform their lives prove it every single day. You deserve that transformation too. If this video helped you, please subscribe and share it with someone you love. And tell me in the comments, which of these 5 foods are you going to try first? And what is your biggest struggle when it comes to managing your blood sugar right now? I read every comment, and I will see you in the next one.